What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Silver Tongue Devil here. So, we have got an interesting day today, and I wanted to be able to give this live stream a good test run. So, let's see. There we go. It looks like it's a little late on certain aspects of it, but we will try and make this thing work as best as possible. I want to try and get the chat ready to roll. So, there we go. All right. What's there to talk about today other than everything has been about gun control and the fact that there's an active shooter inside of YouTube right now? Very little details have been known about this, just that there's an active shooter and he could have possibly shot himself. There's other things. People are walking out right now. Police will give details according to exactly what is taking place. As for what to talk about right now, I think it's a good time to talk about David Hogg. David Hogg and the fact that we have a person that is absolutely under the insane asylum. David Hogg has been a consistent thorn inside the left side, and they put him there. So what do we do about David Hogg, other than he's pretty much shooting himself in the foot? The only thing I can say is let the little Nazi do his thing. He's already taken out a lot of people while he's at it. Now, it seems a little bit selfish and totally not right for me to actually talk about David Hogg while there's an active shooter at YouTube, because my thoughts and prayers are with the people inside YouTube. But it's been a couple of weeks since David Hogg has been pointed out towards the public eye, and he's definitely one of those figures that has no clue what he's doing. I was just barely talking to my girl about this, and he just barely came into the limelight. Literally, just barely came in. And now he's all of a sudden a public figure. He's now in the middle of tons of scandals, and he has no clue what he's doing. All right? Let's take it step by step and say exactly what happened to him. The first thing that happened was David Hogg became the survivor of a school shooting. Now, it's up for debate whether or not he was actually there or not, because several accounts say that he wasn't there, while other accounts say he was there. That's up for debate. We won't get into that type of stuff. But he all of a sudden became a public figure because CNN put him on a panel with Diana Lash and a bunch of other people, conservatives and senators, etc. With him and his group of friends, he bashed pretty damn hard the, well, pretty much gun activists. I mean, they bashed him pretty hard and gave them no room for, I would say, empathy. You know, they wanted to say to them, you guys want guns, so you have zero empathy. It seemed like an effective tool at the time, and they were stating that they want marches. But as time went on, and as David Hogg went on to different interviews, he started shooting himself in the foot several times over, and started acting more and more like a Nazi group, Nazi youth group. You know, clicking his heels, putting his fist in the air while at the march. So he became criticized for comments that he made on himself. Like, these were comments that he made on himself. And who was the news anchor? Anyways, Fox News anchor. She was she pretty much pointed out the obvious with him. You know, hey, you didn't get into 4 colleges. You're the one that said it yourself. Well, he decided to pull his little Twitter followers power, almost 750,000 Twitter followers, told them exactly who and what to go after, you know, the sponsorships, pretty much the money. He told his little activists to go after the money and told them to pull out from her program. Well, this little debacle made him instantaneously the bad guy. Before that, you know, his little Nazi salute, his little armband things, they were nothing. But this right here was his pull to power. Now he became critical of a journalist, and he was cloaked behind the victimhood of being a school shooter. Instantaneously, you would think that he would sit there and be a little bit more tact. No. He wasn't tact at all. He just did it. All right. What he did next became worse. All right. While the news anchor apologized, now, to me, she shouldn't have. She shouldn't have apologized, not even in the tiniest bit. But she did apologize. And she apologized on Twitter, asked him to come on. His reaction was, I will not accept your apology. Bad move. Very, very bad move. If somebody apologizes, whether it be professional or non-professional, doesn't matter. You take their apology, because then you're the one who has the moral high ground. You just lost the moral high ground like that. And now, all of a sudden, everybody's looking at him like he's a tyrant, that he just pulls people one way or the other. So, what do you do with him? I don't know exactly, but I can give him a little bit of advice. The first advice I can give him, quit fucking talking, all right? Trump's the only one that can talk and put his foot in his mouth and get away with it. You can't. You're new. You're 17. Stop talking, all right? You want to be able to get public attention? The first thing you need to do is have somebody telling you what to say. You just barely put your foot in your mouth by saying that old people can't run a democracy, a republic. You put your foot in your mouth by saying that politicians suck and that they don't have anything. You put your foot in your mouth when you sat there and wanted to say, put a price tag on your neck and then do a little bit of a, yeah, a little bit of a Nazi salute. You put your foot in your mouth when you put an armband on and promoted an armband. You put your foot in your mouth when you said you want to take away all the weapons. You have no idea what you're doing, okay? You don't state the obvious, what your agenda is, what your outcome is. You need to be able to stop and think very hardly. Jordan Peterson, the number one thing that Jordan Peterson is afraid of, and this is one of the fascinating things, and it's something I'm afraid of personally. Personally, I'm afraid of that if I ever did become a public figure, if I ever did actually become that type of person that is talking to individuals, will I ever, and I'm talking about, will I ever put my foot in my mouth? And all of a sudden now, people can critique me, all right? He had a fresh white suit on, and he decided to throw mud onto his own goddamn suit. Now everybody sees the mud. Now it's very, very obvious that he is not just a political activist. Like, political activist is a good thing, but that he is willing to take it to the extreme and do kind of a take over mentality. You're not going to do it, we will do it. And then we ask him critical questions. Okay, what do you propose? Take away all the guns. Do you honestly understand what you're saying right now? Do you honestly get it? Do you get what you're saying right now? Do you understand that that's a repeal of the Second Amendment? Do you understand that you are asking for millions of people, millions, I'm not talking about a little, I'm talking about almost 90 to 100 million Americans who are known to have a gun, who are known to have a weapon inside their house, who have never used it to kill anybody, and you're saying that you want to criminalize almost 100 million people, go into their house, take it either by force or by buyback, whichever one. And the buyback may only consider like maybe 20% of all the people who have weapons. Oh, we're going to buy back your weapons. Okay, what happens when they don't give it up? Well, then we're going to take it by force. Do you understand that with the 17 people that died because of the school shooting, you would be able to create almost hundreds to thousands of times worse from police officers, from military men? You are asking people to break into people's houses, take their guns, and then what then? What do you think they will do? They will go onto YouTube. They will go onto Twitter. Police and everybody took my weapon. They took it. You're talking about revolution time. This kid has no clue what he's talking about. He has zero clue. And this is the type of stuff that he needs to back the fuck off. All right? Too many men and women have guns. They use it for protection. They use it in case there's a revolution. And he is dabbling in revolution. He's dabbling in it like it's no tomorrow. And he wants to be the supreme leader of the dabbling of the revolution. He's saying he's the one to be able to create a revolution. No. Okay? It'll be a cold day in hell. And every single gun owner will say this, and gun activists will say it. It'll be a cold day in hell, and they'll have to take it from my cold, dead fingers before they ever get my weapon. This would be thousands upon thousands of dead soldiers and dead civilians. For what? You're looking at it the wrong way, okay? What you need to do is figure out inside of your own head what your argument is. I can even figure it out. It's really simple. Okay, you want to be able to prevent mass shootings. Okay, what's the number one thing that they have? Okay, guns is an obvious thing. Okay, but you can't take away guns from certain types of people. So how do you stop mass shootings? Okay, find out about their mental disorder. Okay, mental disorder. Let's go with mental disorder for a little bit. Okay, let's also go with history. Let's also go with police reports. Let's also go with all these different types of things, okay? Now, you're all the time, even the Vegas shooter was clean as a whistle. He didn't actually do the shooting until later on in his life, and he had nothing. So it's not going to save everybody. And that's kind of the point, okay? You do as much as you can, but there's only so much you can do, all right? Before you actually go into the extreme territory and actually start taking away people's weapons. This cannot stand. Try and figure out a better, more middle ground, okay? You say bump stocks. Okay, I don't agree with taking away bump stocks. I don't agree with taking away automatic on a weapon. Fact is that if there were mass shootings with automatic weapons, they would run out of ammo before they even had a chance to be able to shoot up more people, because the amount is just a crazy amount. You're gone. Okay, you may have hit 2 or 3 people max, and then you have to reload. To me, I don't agree with the whole automatic weapon, but that's up for debate. So if you're trying to get that middle ground, try and get something other than just AR rifles, okay? Try and get something other than that. Try going after criminals. That should be the goal. That should be the middle ground, because everybody agrees, go after the criminals, okay? Criminals should not have weapons. Fine, they shouldn't have weapons. They'll get it illegally and they'll become a criminal again. But it's better that they are not allowed to actually have weapons. Okay, let's take a look at the school shooter. What could have happened with that current school shooter? He had the police come over 39 separate times. 39. 39. And they didn't take away his weapons. He stated on Facebook and YouTube his whole life's goal was to be a school shooter. Sounds to me like you're pointing the wrong direction. Take away weapons or take away violence. Which is the one that you want the most? Take away weapons or take away violence? Let's try and get more, I don't know, security guards inside of a school. That's a good solution. Okay? Let's focus a little bit more on, I don't know, if you're talking about gun-free zones, let's make sure that we have security guards. Let's make sure we have at least teachers who are willing. Nah, I'm saying just willing, okay? Not that they have to, that they're willing, that they are the ones that feel, okay, I want to have a gun before a school shooter happens, before these crazy little kids start shooting up the place and I have to protect the everybody. If they're willing, then let them have one, okay? Let them have it inside the school and never have them announce that, have it be a policy. Never announce that you're an actual carrier of a weapon, that you keep it safe inside of a desk, lockbox, close at hand. That way, you're the only one that knows the combination. Beep, 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 bam, you got it. Another solution is metal detectors inside of schools. Hey, you might as well go all the way and make it into an airport, right? That's another solution that can happen. I would even suggest this: have the guys who were part of the ROTC, these heroes, sat there. Now it would have still done some damage, but not much. But they took a Kevlar sheet and draped it over the other students, and walked them out. To me, have those ROTC people who are learning about being a soldier and everything like that, hey, they have them get their concealed weapon, and if they want to, great. If not, don't worry about it. But if they're a soldier, let them have the opportunity to be able to get a concealed carry, all right? They're supposed to be at least decent people, roughly decent. Why not? Let them do it. But I digress. There's so many different other options out there. So many. Going to the extreme is the worst thing you could do. All right? And this is coming on a day where pretty much YouTube had a shooting. And this is probably the worst idea I could ever do for a rant. But whatever. I don't care. Doesn't matter. There's so many good solutions, but yet we don't take into consideration, because one side is all about arming an entire populace and the other side is about disarming an entire populace. Which side is right? Well, we're not looking at it from a good perspective. We're looking at it from gun bad, and that's it. We can insert anything we want to. Gun, knife, car, poison. We can all say that the tool used or the weapon used is bad. But who is the one who really yields that particular weapon? It is the person. It's the crazy. It's the person who is unstable inside the head. All right? It's a person who probably has been bullied. I mean, there's even that. There's the anti-bullying campaign. I believe that you can actually help out with that by not going too extreme, by punishing bullies. But there is a way to be able to figure out more ways to help out with the mentally unstable. So, like I said, what do we do? Well, there's that type of conversation. There's always that type of conversation. And that should be the starting point, is having a conversation. Having a conversation between two people and making it so that they mesh, okay? That they can mesh, that their answers can be solved. But if you're so far extreme that you can't come to at least an agreement, to at least some type of agreement, then there's no conversation. There is none. Zero. Okay? To me personally, having at least somebody who carries inside of a gun-free zone might be able to ward off a little bit more, and who knows, might actually stop an active shooter. That to me seems a lot more logical sense. But people on the extreme left say, oh, so you're looking for people to be heroes. There's no such thing as heroes. They watch movies about heroes all the time. They'll say, oh, that's just fantasy. That's a fantasy world. No, that's wrong. There are real heroes out there who are ready and willing to die for the right cause. You just need to arm them. They're good people. And the fact is that I would rather have an armed good guy and an armed bad guy than just a disarmed good guy. Okay? Because that's the only option I see, is that all you're doing with these laws are disarming good people. Do you really, really, really think that the bad people would actually say, buyback program, I'm going to get money for my gun? Damn, that's stupid. God damn, that's so fucking stupid. Holy shit. Hang on, criminal. We're going to offer you money for a gun. And will you give it up? What the fuck? Of course I will. I want money. You know, the money will be good. Or I might think of it this way. Oh, nobody else will have a gun? Okay, it'll be easy for me to rob the next store. What are they thinking? No bad guy is ever going to think that. No bad guy is going to have a moral compass and say, well, looks like I'm going to get money for a gun. Thank you so much. They don't think. This is the biggest losing issue with the far left. And I'm talking about far left. I'm not talking about people who lean middle left, okay? Middle left people are awesome. I love middle left people because I can actually have a conversation with them. If they disagree with me, hell, I can have a conversation with them and it's not a big deal. But the far left, this is the biggest losing issue of all time. Because what they are stating is that they want more murders and they want more people not protected. And they want to be able to just say, you know what, we'll give you pepper spray, woman. Hey, you're an old grandma who lives by yourself and the gun's your only protection. You know what? Screw that. Let's take away your gun and let's go ahead and replace it with pepper spray. Yeah, a gang of violent men should be able to stun them for a little bit before you can actually call the police, right? The police will end up being there in 10 to 20 minutes. Or you could just sit there and cock back your shotgun and say, get off my property. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm leaving, bye. It's obvious that that's the way it works. The criminal will be scared of the good person who's going to pull the trigger first. Period. Because they don't want to die. They want their drugs. They want their money. They want to create fear inside the hearts of people. Well, guess what creates more fear? The fact that there's a good guy with a gun on the other side. Not a bat, not a knife, not some nunchucks, a gun. Because a gun is easier, simpler, and it scares the living shit out of people when they hear it. God damn. I could go on like this for days. This is just the way things are. We can't be like any other country. Okay, every country out there gets rid of their guns in their population. Switzerland is the only one that actually arms their populace. All right? Nobody else. Nobody else but us. All right? And they want us to be like every other country. Really? Is every other country that great? God, are they really that great? Think about it for a second. I go to Nigeria. I can't get a weapon at all. But guess who does? All the people who sit there and kidnap people. They have weapons. Terrorists. They took away all the weapons from the good people. And guess what? Cops, corrupt government people, military men, corrupt military men, and terrorists are the only ones that have it. You are taking away a person who can easily put fear inside the people's hearts. A good person with a gun. All of a sudden, you made it so that now they're subjected to every form of corruption on the face of the planet. Okay, you're a helpless individual. I will kill you if you don't do what I say. Huh? I would assume every single feminist group out there would be like, fuck no. Fuck no. We want to make sure that we're protected. Instead, they're just saying, you know what? Guns kill. Of course guns kill. They could kill good and bad people depending on who's behind it. That's their purpose. Duh. If you're a good person, you're going to kill a bad person. If you're a bad person, you're going to try and scare and kill good people. That's the whole point behind it. You scare the bad guy, they go away. But of course, no, we're going to muddy the waters. We're going to use some type of mental gymnastics on it. We're going to tell people exactly what they can and can't think. That all of a sudden, you just say long enough that guns kill. The fact is that is a mental gymnastics. That's a bait and switch. That's a sleight of hand. All right? They will make the statement, hey, guns kill. 2 words, guns kill. Duh. That's a duh statement, okay? But they don't say anything about violent people use guns to kill. Violent people use knives to kill. Violent people use weapons of all sorts to kill. That's a more true statement. Violent people use weapons to kill. So what are you going to do? Take away the weapons and not the violent people? Smart move, idiot. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to take away all these weapons. And then all of a sudden the violent people have no source to be able to use their violence onto anybody. If anything else, they'll use fists. I don't know how it's not freaking obvious. I don't know how people can't see it. It baffles me how people can actually sit there and go, oh, well, you know, we just don't want to sit there and have weapons, okay? Because guns kill. So we're going to take it away from all the good people. What the? God damn it. Sorry. I get emotional over that type of stuff because I'm dead serious when it comes to stupid people. Because you can't fix stupid. But obviously people think that they're smart, do very little research, go onto CNN, believe their college professors, the idiots that they are, and then they go out into the world. They try living the world and trying being a Marxist person, and then they all of a sudden say, oh, wait a second, that's not the way the world works. Then they finally gain a little bit of experience, and finally they have to pay taxes for the first time in their life. And then all of a sudden they become decently smart. Okay? But they still hold on to good activist propaganda that they have been indoctrinated in since they were 5 years old. Facebook admitted it. Facebook admitted it on a panel. Do you really think that Facebook is sitting there just feeling pretty about what you do? No, they want you to only go to certain articles. Only to certain articles. That's what they want. That's what Twitter wants. That's what all these news organizations, they want you to go to them because they want to be right and they want you. You equals power. When they have you, you can deal damage. All right? An activist does this for a living. He goes out on marches. He goes out and yells. He goes on to Twitter and Facebook, spreading as many articles as possible. An activist will do something like that. Okay? But a normal person doesn't waste their goddamn time. And that is the type of people that don't raise their voices. And I understand why. I get it. I get why these people don't raise their voices. Because they want to be in peace. George Washington, after the war was done, he just said, leave me alone. I'm done. I'm done. And they forced him to be president. And he's just like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I just want to go into my house and live in peace. All right? I just want to go in my house, live in peace. Don't bother me. And that's how Americans are. They're not, by nature, they're not political activists. They just want to be left alone. All right? Let me make my money. Let me get my stuff. Let me provide for my family. Let me alone. Leave me alone. Excuse me. And I just want to watch my football. I just want to watch my basketball. And then they go in to the theater. And the movie that they thought that they would enjoy, they stopped enjoying because of political propaganda. They stopped enjoying the basketball and the football because of political propaganda. They stopped enjoying their basic, normal lives because of political propaganda. They're interrupted consistently with this, not to live normally, to live like a normal human being because of political propaganda. I know that for myself. I tried to get away from political propaganda a long time ago, and I get why people hate it. Out of anybody in this world, even though I am in the middle of doing this, I get it. I get why people hate it. I get why people don't want to be a part of it. All right? I get why there's so many different people who are just like, I voted for Trump, now leave me alone. I voted for Hillary, now leave me alone. I voted for this person, just leave me the hell alone. All right? I did my part. I need to walk away from this. It's drama. It's consistent drama. It's a drama that can't be fixed. Here's my advice to any of those people out there who are watching. Do yourself one good, solid thing. Just be aware. Okay? Find a YouTube channel. Find a news outlet. Just be aware of the facts. Okay? It's easy to walk away from this and never hear the facts. It's easy to be able to hear what somebody else says and then go, interesting, and believe them from face value. It's easy to go into the school, listen to your college professor, and think that this is how the world works. It's easy to be able to just hear all these anchors on the news and believe everything that they say. It's easier. You don't have to think. It's easy to just, okay, I listen to the news. Fuck, I hate Trump. Fuck, I hate the Republican Party. Fuck, there's school shootings. Why don't they do something about it? Fuck. It's a lot easier not to think. Because then you go to work, you have your wife, you have your kids, or your husband, and then you focus on them and try to forget everything in this world. Take it from me. You want a good life? You want a good aspect of life, a balanced life? If, like I said, you don't have to believe me, you don't have to view me, you don't have to say anything to me. But just, if you take any piece of advice, take this. All right? Take everything with a grain of salt. And live your life. All right? Everything. Every little thing. And do your homework, for God's sake. actually get on the ground and work. Use your mind for 10 seconds. Don't believe everything that everyone says. If you sit there and you listen to both sides and figure out which side is actually correct, you might actually find that your position is actually different. Not a lot of people will do that. Nah, not a lot. It's just a crazy, crazy, crazy world we live in. I want to get off that rant because I could go on forever on that rant. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Italy. Now, I'm a half Italian, if you can't already tell. I'm white Irish. I look like I'm a white Irish, but I have almost zero Italian looks on me for some reason. But I'm half Italian. And recently, they have been going through a type of problem where tons of immigrants have been coming in, and they're sick of it. So they're about to leave the EU. Now, I don't know too much details about it. If you guys have any more details about it, let me know. But pretty much it boils down to one event that took place that almost every Italian heard about and said, fuck them. There's a girl about the age of 18. It was like 17 or 18. A Nigerian immigrant came in, a Muslim immigrant came in, started chatting it up with her, and then all of a sudden chopped her up, cooked her, and left parts of her in different areas of the city. It was the most sick and twisted thing you could ever think of. It was bad enough that they had an immigrant problem. All of a sudden, one immigrant chops up an Italian girl, a little Italian girl. Then the Italian people flipped out. Now they're scared. Why do you think the guy who said, "Hey, we're stopping immigration, period," won by almost a landslide? This is why the government needs to protect its people instead of its people protecting themselves. All right? Now, I firmly believe that it should be government first that protects the people in case of an invasion, and then it's the people that protect themselves. Government failed, and the Italian people have no way to protect themselves. They don't have guns. It was taken away during World War II, I believe. I could very well be wrong. But it was taken away. So what should they do? They're starting to riot. They're starting to say, "Oh my gosh, they don't know how to take care of us. They have no clue." Won by a landslide. Now they're looking at exiting the EU. Interesting how it works. A bad event like that takes place where everybody hears about it, there's no way that nobody would actually hear about it in Italy. I'm surprised I even heard about it in the United States, but I heard about it, and my mom didn't hear about it. She's the Italian in our group. She didn't hear about it. All of our Italian friends didn't hear about it except for my friend Sam. Sam is the only one, Samuele, that actually heard about this. And he sat there and was disgusted by it, and he's just like, "I'm glad there's going to be a revolution." Now, if they don't contain these, if they don't contain the immigrant problem that they're having right now, if they don't actually contain it as of right now, it could topple over. And we are looking at a personal revolution inside of Italy, where the people of Italy actually sit there and kick them out by force. They will use bats. They will use any means necessary. And this could possibly boil over for within the next 2 to 3 years. We don't know exactly what will take place, but it's just a possibility. All right? So just keep your eye on Italy. That's the number one thing you need to do, is keep your eye on Italy, because Italy is going to be one of the determining factors of whether or not the EU stays in place. Now, as for Brexit, Brexit is still on the back burner, and everybody and their dog is trying to stop it. It was voted, and nobody is fighting to be able to take it back, to make sure that it happens. So the EU really needs to get out now. I wish they would get out now, but it's not going to take place within the next, who knows, 2 to 3 years or so, maybe even 4 or 5. And even then, they can't back out. Italy might be a different scenario because this was huge, and a revolution might be taking place where the people are actually rioting in the streets against the actual government. Rome will rise again, right? Let Rome rise. Let it rise. I think it would be funny shit. Oh, God. Ugh. It's been a good day, I tell you what. It's been a good, solid day. I wanted to take just a minute to clear my mind of exactly all the thoughts that are going on into my head. Let's talk a little bit more about Count Dankula. I've got 15 minutes left. I want to be able to make it a good 15 minutes. Count Dankula. It's a fascinating, interesting thing that happened in Europe. He is going to be sentenced to prison. Possibly. Possibly. I can't just make it definite. All right? They may just house arrest him, slap on the wrist, good to go. But there's a possibility. This got all over the internet and all over the world. This actually creates more of a movement. People are actually moving. People are actually waking up. People are actually seeing exactly what's going on, and they're sick and tired of it. The people on the extreme left went too far, and they're still trying to push the boundaries. They went too far too quick, and Count Dankula is the sign of it. People say he's the canary in the coal mine. No. That happened a long time ago. That happened months, years ago, if anything. The canary in the coal mine took place with Christina Hoff Sommers saying that there's an attack on boys. Now, to me, this Count Dankula thing only confirms exactly our fears. I've stated back in the past that this whole Count Dankula thing needs to be able to be addressed fully. That we need to help support him in any way. Because if we don't actually support him, we might actually end up like him. And if we end up like him, then we're pretty much screwed. You know what I mean? We would be screwed to the nth degree. So, we need to at least keep it aware and try and sue the UK government. Now, Lauren Southern's on top of that for not having her come into the country. But then you've got Count Dankula. Hopefully somebody can follow suit and be able to sue them for lack of freedom of speech, lack of a sense of fucking humor. Jesus Christ. I mean, what do you do? What do you do in that type of situation where freedom of speech is being trampled on and everybody sits there and says, oh, good on them? You tell them exactly this. We're in the business of changing hearts and minds. Well, here's a heart and mind that you can change. If it happens to them, it'll eventually happen to you. And who's to say it won't? Are you really going to believe them after they've already already convicted a kid for making a video about the wrong thing? You guys must be crazy. You know what? I want to talk a little bit about this immigration of 1,000 people and what Trump should do. So on Sunday, 1,000 plus, possibly 2, possibly 3. We don't know the exact amount. But on Sunday, a caravan of people tried coming into the United States. Don't know how far they got. Don't know whether they got to the wall, the outside border, or inside the United States. We don't know the exact details right now because I've been trying to look it up and the details are fuzzy and hazy. But Trump made a statement. He said, there's a difference between 1 or 2 people coming in, different areas all over the United States, and we don't have a wall to protect us. This right here is an invasion. If this is an invasion, hang on one sec. Okay. Sorry about that. My thing was a little bit off. He considers this an invasion, and I totally agree with him. That's 1,000 people coming into the United States. And Mexico said, go straight through. Go to the United States. Go ahead. It's almost as if they didn't care about us. So how should Trump be able to handle this type of thing? Well, the number one thing that he can do is bring the military down to that area and stop them in their tracks. Now, do I agree with that? I don't know. I would say that that's a really, 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 really bad thing. Because if it happens once, it'll happen again, and again, and again, and again. This slippery slope, this boiling frog, it doesn't end. And it never ends right. Because when you finally have independence and personal freedom, you can be able to hold off on people. Independence and personal freedom should be the number one thing that we should go for. And people are still sitting there trying to figure out that if you go to one extreme, which is non-personal freedom, bondage, then you're actually taking away from everyone else. So the border wall is encroaching on people's personal freedom. All right? You're actually stating that their freedom doesn't matter to you when you allow these people coming in. You say, oh, you could become a citizen. Your personal freedom doesn't even come close to mattering at this point. And you're probably asking yourself, why do you say this? Why do you believe in that type of stuff? They're not doing any harm. No, they are. Because they're actually, now we're actually at a point where people can come waltzing on into our country and have more privileges and pleasures than us. This is encroaching. You're taking away people's personal freedom of having a decent job, to do the work that they want, to be able to, let's just say this is a humanitarian effort, okay? And it was done by a personal organization. And the personal organization actually said, okay, we will bring these people in legally in a good way. I would say, great, absolutely, go ahead. And then they have special housing facilities, different types of things. Instead, it's like government comes in and says, you have to help them. Why? 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 Because it's humanitarian? Why? Because it would be the nice thing to do? Why is it the nice thing to do? Are you forgetting that we still have our own problems? It's like taking a person who's drowning and saying, save that guy while you're drowning yourself. Hurry up, save that guy. I'm drowning. Hello? No, you still gotta save him. It's idiocracy. They don't realize that we're in a certain state where we need to create an overabundance inside of our country. And if we have an underabundance, then all of a sudden we are screwed. Because then we can't help take care of the rest of the country, to the rest of the world, in fact. It encroaches on people's personal freedom to be happy and to have a country that they feel safe. All right? That is an encroachment. It's pretty much what you're saying to these people is that go ahead and invade us. Yeah, we're cool with it. Open the gates. Trojan horse coming in. I still, to this day, don't understand how people can't think past a certain point. I still can't. I'm still befuddled. I'm still at that point where I just am like, hands are tied. I don't know. Tell me what to do. Tell me. Because I have no clue. I have no clue what you are asking or expecting of me. Because right now you're expecting of me to enter into a contract with people who are non-citizens and to try and help them when we can't even help the poor people that are on our streets. They're still living in poor huts. We still can't take care of the people who are actually drug addicts. All right? Do I believe that we should make drugs legal? Abso-freaking-lutely. We should make most drugs legal. Now, here's the catch to that. We make it legal. We also have to provide people places where they can get off those drugs. All right? We have to provide places. Now, I'm not saying like heroin or any of the super drugs. I'm talking about, weed, shrooms, the tiny stuff. All right? And the illegal stuff, the really hard shit. Stop it at the border wall, and let's stop making it so that young people get their hands on it. Because once they get their hands on it, it's over. So, anyways, the 1,000 people, who knows if Trump will actually send an army down there. If he does, I say good on him. If he doesn't, it's no skin off of my back at the moment, but it definitely concerns me that these people would actually allow something like this because it is unacceptable to have an invading force come in. But no skin off my back, I still can't accept an invading force. 1,000 people, 2,000 people, I don't give a shit how much it is. Who knows what their backgrounds are. That's an invading force. If they are good, decent people, fine. Let them go through the steps. Hell, tell Google or YouTube or any Silicon Valley person to take them on. They've got the money, let them pay. But they're not going to pay. They don't care. They want the government to pay with our tax money. Dumb as shit. Well, guys, that's my rant for the day. It's long. I'm still figuring out how to be able to do this. This is still a test. And I hope to be able to continue with this test a little bit more often. Because I like actually doing this. This is actually a fun time for me. And I want to be able to do this full time. So maybe someday I might get paid for it, but for now I'm looking for a part-time job until that time. And hopefully I can fund myself until the time that I can actually make this little dream a reality. Love you guys. We'll see you guys next time.